welcome to this webinar on the learning management systems. Hope you get a lot out of it, and as Ramesh mentioned, we'll have time for Q&A at the end. So one of the reasons why I developed this particular webinar is because I spent a considerable amount of my career working with and in some cases seemingly against learning management systems. And obviously in today's business environment, they are really key for all the training, recording, documentation, record keeping that you need, and their ability to present reports to auditors or to regulatory agency inspectors. So this is a tool that if you're in the training profession, you lead on very hard. The issue with it is that sometimes the functionality doesn't completely match up with what your particular requirements are. And in some cases, you may feel that you're working against the LMS in order to get your job done. And of course, LMSs vary in terms of type of functionality that they have. Certain ones can do more than others. Others give you a number of options that perhaps aren't really necessary for your day-to-day. So we'll talk about what I would consider the common denominator of these. And this is the area where I feel that this hopefully will provide assistance to individuals who have to use these systems. So when I worked at McNeil, now known as J&J Consumer, one of the tasks that all of the departments that handle training had to deal with were developing new training curricula, and part of it had to do with a consent decree requirement. So in the work plan, it was what they called the phase 2 and phase 3. Phase 1 pretty much was getting people up to speed with their current training and design and develop a plan forward for the curriculum and for ensuring that individuals were qualified. So I remember one of my supervisors was thinking that we could knock out these curricula in a relatively short period of time. I think she mentioned 3 months, and certainly she wasn't hands-on with it, and it wasn't her area of expertise. So she could be forgiven for assuming that it could take less time than it really did. In the reality, it was more like 6 months. And part of the reason for this is because curricula are moving targets, because obviously they're going to change and evolve based on the needs of the business. And in order to be able to get the curricula where you want them, you need to adapt to the business needs, at the same time be clear about the goals that you have, and you have to understand the system, obviously. So the other important item that I noticed was that a lot of my colleagues who were involved in training had it as an ancillary responsibility. So some individuals at an admin level were more than competent and capable in their areas, and yet they had the additional burden of managing training. You could say on the one hand that reflected what the organization felt about training and the importance or lack thereof that it placed on it. Nonetheless,